Yeah, we're going to have the class here, right? The 4th week. Yeah, recorded one, right? The last day we did third lesson, no? Environment. Isn't that? Oh, second one. Third one should be done today. As per the course outline, what's the lesson we have to do? This one, no? Environment of management or organizational environment. Right. In the start of the previous lesson also we noted, no? As we identified the similar external environmental forces which could influence managers and organizations to rethink of the management principles and practices, no? That's the first learning outcome we had there. Then today also here we will identify that part again, no? It's a duplication, but we can minimize 100% overlapping in these subjects. When you do the organizational behavior subject, again, not only contents, sometimes same topics would be discussed there. But then discussion should be done slightly in a different manner, no? That should be done, but overlapping cannot be avoided among some subjects of these programs, management programs. Right. Then here also, no, we will similarly consider that. But these are the learning outcomes, three major learning outcomes of this lesson, right? First, we have to identify, or first we can define organizational environment or management environment simply to know what is that. Then we will identify basic elements or forces or factors in the environment of management. Right, then they can be described one by one. For that purpose, we can use a diagram like this, right? Diagram like this with many colors to identify them clearly. Right, then with that brief explanation of the elements, we will know the important role played by the external environment. Even these days, it is much evident the dominant role of the natural environment. Yeah, basic. Right now, air pollution is a very big problem. No? Before we think of others to survival, we should consider the pure air first. Within seconds, our life will end up. Right, even before I mentioned, no, compared to other environmental forces in the external environment, this is going to be the most important, crucial one, which cannot be controlled at all. Rather, we have to respect them, preserve them, even at our individual capacity, day by day. In future, I mean, numerous things should happen based on their natural environment. We have to, use learning, not to forget that. within a short period of time, no? Right? Both animals and human beings, no, both should consider, respect, and try to preserve the natural environment first. Then only we can consider other environmental forces, globalization, technology, economic aims, socio-cultural interactions, political, legal. To do politics, I think there should be a place us to live, to do politics, to perform. Right, think of these. Then this lesson is very important today, right? Right, then importantly, as the third learning outcome, we should know how to adapt to the external environment. Manager should adapt to the external environment, no? Using some organizational culture related strategies. Before using strategies, they have to consider identify, analyze the complexity level of the environment, external environmental forces, in what industry, in what business they are in, whether the industry is highly volatile, no, or somewhat stable. Then based on that, they can consider two approaches, no? Internally focused approach as well as externally focused approach to adapt. Then four such strategies can be identified finally. That's the last learning outcome. It involves strategic management, marketing management as well, right? Right. The environment of management, organizational management means, but here no such a definition given, but based on that we can say so. But using these words, we can do that, no? Then we can refer organizational environment as a set of elements or set of forces or set of factors, right? Influencing what? The operations and performance of the organization, no? Right, you can write down that. I have not given that, later I will add that. Online members are also, I think, with us, no? Right. You better write this additionally as the first definition, no? Given for this concept, organizational environment or managerial environment. It's a set of forces, set of elements. You may use strokes or slashes to separate. Try to gather much similar words as possible, right? Organizational environment or managerial environment or the environment of management is a set of elements or forces or factors affecting or influencing, no? Or affecting the organization. The organization in bracket, you can say the organization means its operations and performance, no? Including people behavior, right? But when we consider performance, we have to consider people behavior as well, no? Right? The environment of management refers to a set of elements, forces, or factors affecting the organization. That means its operations and performance, right? Then we can divide the environment broadly into two, no? As internal and external environment, right? As mentioned, internal, external. As per the diagram, the central box and the elements present the internal environment. Those are within the organization's boundary. Boundary is this one, no? A dot line can be used to cover this rectangular box. That's the organization's boundary, right? This is also based on the systems theory we discussed. Right. Then what are the...
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, can you share screen with us?
My God, I didn't do that, no?
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Straight away, I went to the slides, no, physically, right? Okay. Where it is, this one. Sorry, thanks for reminding.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Wait. This mode is a little bit different, no? For the mode that we are getting in our own effort. It is ready. Wait. Still, you can't see, no? Yeah, I should share that with the handout. Stop sharing. Sharing. How about now?
No, sir, still no.
Share the screen.
Yes, sir.
That's the screen command. Is here. Now it should come. There's a frame. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
now it is fine, sir. Yeah.
Sorry for the mistake in introduction. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Then,
Thank you, sir.
but the other things should have been written up by you, right? Then we had a definition about environment. Then then after that we divided it, no, broadly as internal and external. Then I am using this diagram, no, to show the three key elements in the internal environment. What are these three elements in the organization's internal environment? First, managers or management, then employees, then culture. Culture of the organization, not the national culture. It is here. National culture is here. This is the organization's culture, own culture, right? But without considering national culture, we can't consider the organization culture. Right, both are in the same continuum, right? Right. Then this is going to be the organization's boundary, right? Within the boundaries, we can see this internal environment and the three elements. Right. Then there are two other layers, no, above the boundary, above the internal environment. These are two layers present. First, the task environment. There is one part of the external environment. First part. Second part is the general or macro environment or indirect environment. Task or direct environment. Here we will identify customers, customers, consumers, suppliers, competitors, and labor markets situations as the key forces in the task environment. Right. Then you are familiar with the general environmental forces, no? Even before we considered that, even now I explain. International or global forces or global elements or global forces. Then technological forces, then economic forces, socio-cultural forces, legal, political or political legal forces, then natural forces. Are the six key forces in the general environment of the external environment, general of the external. No? Customers, suppliers, competitors, labor markets, as selected here, are the forces in the task environment of the external environment. Right. Okay. This is the way we can demonstrate that these key elements in the two types of environment. Second can be divided into two further as task and general, right? Then these are briefly explained. Internal environment. The internal environment includes elements within the organization's boundary. I said that it comprises current managers, employees, and especially the organization's culture. Sometimes culture of the organization can be more powerful. Even managers and employees both should follow them to make decisions as well as perform. Even newcomers, visitors to the organization should share them. Right. Later we will have some explanations about the culture, right, at the end of the handout. Right. To save time, I think we will try to finish this early, right? This lesson, right? After that, we will have the quiz also based on this. Right. Then external environment includes elements outside the organization's boundary. It has two types: task, general. Task environment is closer to the organization boundary. Therefore, these forces can directly or regularly influence the operations and performance of the organization. Right. Customers can do, they decide what to buy, how to buy, in what quantity to buy, where to buy, whether they should place reorders. In that way, the customers or consumers of the organization can determine the demand for its products or services. Right. Then organization also can influence these direct environmental forces, but it cannot be done for the macro environmental forces. Rather, adjusting, adopting. Then how organizations can influence customers? Through different marketing strategies, other strategies, through price related strategies, product related strategies, promotion related strategies, quality related strategies. They can also influence in return. It depends on the nature of the market. If it is a monopolistic market, then who has more bargaining power? To the organization or to the customers in that monopoly? Organization has more bargaining power compared to the customers. Good example is what? Electricity. CEB. It has the monopoly in Sri Lanka. Right. It can simply implement the things. People try to show the pressures, but finally it has the more bargaining power. Then if the business is in the competitive marketplace, then more bargaining power goes to the customers, right? Less with the organization, right? Then mobile phone companies, then what else? Food manufacturing, food delivery companies, groceries. There are many groceries, But now in Sri Lanka, depending on the situation, all businessmen, irrespective of the market nature, they are trying to keep the bargaining power in their favor. Right. Therefore, everything should be understood with the situation, met with the situation. We can't generalize these things. That's what we considered in the contingency approach, what we discussed in the previous lesson, situational approach. Right. Then likewise, the other forces in the task environment can do influence, the organization and vice versa, suppliers. If there's a single supplier to an organization, that single supplier has more bargaining power. If there are a few more suppliers, then the organization can have the more freedom to determine the supplier or to change it. Right, then competitors influence the organization to share the present market, present and future market, right, to attract and retain the customers, right, in shared manner. And sometimes organizations should, again went back, so organizations, can you see the slides or not?
No, sir.
Organizations can follow sometimes the current strategies used by competitors, and competitors also can do the same. Right. Then that's how we can see the relationships, between organizations and right, the competitors. Right. Then any organization should follow rules, regulations, procedures, laws, statutes applicable to the labor market of the particular country. Right. When they try to employ people and when they try to maintain them within the organization, they have to respect these labor market laws, rules like Employment Act, Shop and Profit Act, Factory Ordinance, Gratuity Acts, those things should be followed. Right. And by presenting attractive packages also, they can influence the labor market, the people in the labor market, workforce, to apply for their jobs. Right. Then there are trade unions or labor federations, employee federations, governmental rules, regulations, time to time organizations should consider. Otherwise, they cannot what is called maintain the legal requirement, comply with the legal requirements and the demands of those bodies, right? It is highly seen in public sector organizations, right? That's how the elements in the internal environment and the forces in the task environment should be understood. Right. Any other questions or clarifications? Any different views? You all? These are discussed in other programs as well, SIMA chartered also, in a business environment. These are part of the A-level syllabus also in business studies. Right. Then we will move to the last one, the most important one, the general environment or the macro environment. Right. In marketing also, I think similar topic should be studied appropriately under the heading of topic of marketing environment. Marketing environment. I think Philip Kotler has explained these things nicely in his book. Right, the general environment, as per our diagram, represents the outer layer of the environment. These dimensions is another term, similar term, for those forces, elements, dimensions, forces, or factors. These dimensions, external environmental dimensions, influence the organization not regularly, not day by day, but timely, over time. Right. Not like regular environment or task environment, they cannot. But now the what is called frequency of the influence can be higher than before, of this environment as well. Sometimes now I think we can say that not time to time, but regularly managers should be alert about the influences of the external environment. We are now in such a period, right? Especially natural environment is highly volatile. Now we can't predict, drastically changing due to the global warming. Right, the global or international, technological, economic, socio-cultural, political, legal, and natural are the 6 major forces. Look into that. Right, then this is again the brief explanations given. In addition, the explanations I have given now orally. I didn't talk about these, the roles of these 3 forces, but I roughly mentioned about these. The managers are the agents, appointed to ensure the high return for the investment of the organization, right? They should ensure that organizations operations are done smoothly to achieve the goals and to ensure survival and growth of the organization in the market or the industry, in the globalized marketplace, right? If it is a company, I think managers are separated from the owners or shareholders. If it is a small business, sometimes the owner, the same owner would be the manager. They have owner managers. But whatever the level, like the business should be separated from their personal life. Right. Then employees are coming from the workforce. Therefore, the demographic factors, change in demographic factors can determine the quality or the diversity of the labor or employment of the organization and the labor market, right? Then their competencies and other capacities should be highly used to enhance the performance of the organization, right? At the individual level, at the group level, at the organizational level, right? Then they implement what managers make as decisions based on the lower level, based on the divisions or departments, right? Or in projects. Right. Sometimes the employees may come as managers, future managers. Right. They are considered as internal customers of the organization, not the external, internal customers. Right. Therefore, their competencies highly determine the quality of products, services, and the way the organization should satisfy the external customers and the other stakeholders. Right. Therefore, we can't undermine the job performed by the employees. Only crediting managers. Right. Then culture of the organization. This is organizational culture, corporate culture. Right. That's the internal culture. Right. Should be separated from the external environment, but based on the culture means mainly the shared values by members of the organization that functions as the building blocks or the anchor to make all decisions and to implement strategies as well, right? Then high performing organizations have a strong cultures. Good example is the Toyota's culture, right? Later we will watch a video presentation also when we discuss the groups and teams later under leading. Then as for that video also, I think the announcer says Toyota Motor Corporation has 5 major culture values, 5 culture values shared by all members. Even that can be seen in Toyota Lanka Private Limited, right? You go there, you can see them as a visitor, right? Right, they are the first one is in Japanese. It is said as Genchi Gimbutsu. Genchi Gimbutsu. That means that if you need to, address a problem, you have to go for the roots of the problem. At a surface level, you can't face and have come up with a solution. That is one major aspect of that value, Genchi Gimbutsu. In other words, we can say if you want to see and know the particular way of doing by the organization, you have to visit there, observe and learn. Right. Without that, you can't have a true picture about what are the values or what are the ways of doing things in that organization. Right. Therefore, you have to see the real place of the organization, observing, visiting them. Right. Those are the hints are given in that value, Genchi Gembutsu. It is common not only to Toyota, for any organization, but they highly value these Japanese people. Right. Then other core values are one is Kaizen, continuous improvement value. Then teamwork or high group and teamwork. Then challenge. Challenges are well taken by Toyota as blessings, opportunities. The last one is the respect. Everybody respects each other. Right. Then these are the 5 building blocks in Toyota. That is a very good example to understand the corporate culture. But any organization can have their own values. Even this CA Sri Lanka has its own values. In annual reports, when you read annual reports, definitely you can come across with the values of that organization. Right, listed next to vision, mission, goals, strategies, then values, philosophies, all are listed down. No, right, share, communicate. Right, then the strategy formulation or vision, mission, strategies, goals, all should be formed as per the culture. Managers, employees should behave as per the culture. Even visitors should respect the culture. Finally, it determines the particular identity of the organization to show its good name in the global marketplace as Toyota, or Honda, McDonald's, then Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, then BMW, likewise. No? Finally, it helps organization to present its own identity, brand, goodwill in the market, to distinguish that from others in the market. Right. Right, then the customers, as I mentioned, no, they decide buying goods and services from the organization. Finally, they are the most determining factor of the organization's success or survival and survival. The suppliers can bring resources as well as facilities or services to do the throughput. But now more companies like having not only one supplier, single supplier, more suppliers, fewer suppliers, no? Because of that matter, I said. Then competitors are the other organizations in the same industry, providing similar goods or services. Then each industry is characterized by specific competitive issues, not on the industry, but the SBUs have similar characters of competitive. Then if you have different businesses, you have to identify treat them as different profit centers, different SBUs. Right. In the strategic planning process, we will identify that. Right, then labor market represent forces people in the environment from which organizations hire people, candidates. It includes not only candidates or employees, other bodies like unions, employer federations, associations, and different pressure groups, right, or employee classes as well. Right. Then these are the key forces, in the identified in the external environment, global, international. These are dimensions present different events taken place based on other countries. They provide new competitors, new customers, new suppliers. They shape other environmental forces also, other macro environmental forces. Right. Even the Arthur C. Clarke predicted the key role of the globalization. Right. He said we will come across with the global village concept. Now we are experiencing that. Therefore, the due credit should go to it. You should remember it as a Sri Lankan who shared ideas based on Sri Lanka. Right, the technological environment includes scientific technological improvements, advancements. They can affect industries differently or society in large. Right, they have created massive changes in industries and people behavior. Right. The modern ICT applications are very good examples, including social media, social networks. Right. Then this is the outer level, cultural effects, where we should consider similar things, values, customs, norms, beliefs shared by the general public, general population. Right. It includes demographical profiles as well. Right. Then there is a saying that that today's socio-cultural profiles or demographical profiles are the tomorrow's workforce as well as the tomorrow's customer behavior. They have ongoing impact on people behavior as well as on customer behavior. Even managerial behavior is much affected by this. Right, the economic forces should be considered as general economic conditions of a country or a region or in the globe. Right now, as I mentioned, now most economies are functioning as knowledge-based economies or market economies. Right, allowing things to be decided by demand and supply forces freely. Right, but minor control can be done by the government and bodies, as our central bank now does for the foreign exchange control to a certain level. But more and more things should be allowed for the floating free behavior. That's the nature of modern economies. They have capitalist movement, neo-capitalistic movement or liberalized economies, but there's a few socialized free giants. But they are also trying to deal with the world trades activity. China is a very good example, then Cuba, Russia. They are the key players, So they have some sort of socialist movements. But we don't see pure capitalism or socialism anywhere, but we see the mixed economies. Even Sri Lankan economy is a mixed economy. All are mixed economies now. Right, that's the trend, world trend. Right, then in natural environment, we have to, consider the threats, both threats and opportunities in the natural environment. Then to respond these, managers can use contingency plans. In planning, we will identify the contingency plans. This is a prior preparation to overcome the negative effects of these problems, shortages or fluctuations. Right. Even to respond the any environmental fluctuations, managers as a solution can use contingency plans. To face the power crisis, they can at least, as a contingency solution, they can have alternative methods like generators. They can use generators or solar panels. At the individual level also, we can use these things, the contingency plans. Right. Then in the legal political environment, we have to consider the role of governments, central government, local government, federal governments, and the ideologies, political systems, political ideologies. Right. They also can affect the organizational behavior. Sometimes, especially in the government organizations, there are a lot of political practices. Right. Then, as I mentioned, the legal environment can be considered broadly as time to time affecting organizations' operations. They should respect civil laws, commercial laws, international laws, and so on, human rights, and so on, in a responsible manner. But above laws, rules, I think it's a matter of being ethical as well. That's a voluntary requirement. Then many things can be done than the things done by these laws and rules. Even as individuals, we have to, be ethical. Then as managers also, they should be ethical. Different professions have different codes of ethics. Right, they should follow, as accountants, as auditors, as doctors, or as teachers. Then finally, I think we have to respect not these, but the ethics. To know what to do, what should not be done. That should be understood first. Then accordingly, we have to present our behaviors and actions based on the particular role. Right, that's how the effect of environment and its forces should be understood, analyzed. Then, as I mentioned, finally, I think above all these, we have to consider ethics. The moral obligations can do a lot of things than these. It is called managerial ethics. They are moral obligations, no? To be effective managers or efficient managers. Then always we have to touch with that. Right, those ethics guide our behavior, right, to play our particular role in a society, no, or in an organization. That is lacking, no, not focusing much by the entire world now. They seem forgetting ethics, moral obligations. Therefore, we have to consider virtues, no, virtues. We have to maintain such behavior, ethical behavior, virtues. Based on different religions, no, we have to consider their own virtues. Right, any other questions about the identification of these environmental forces and knowing their effect and how managers, organization can do effect on them? All are mutually related, no? Mutually related. Yeah, too early to have a break, no? Now it's around 9. Right, I will try to finish this lesson then, even before the break. Right. Right, then we are moving to the next learning outcome now to identify how, as managers, organizations try to adapt to the external environment. Right. Then for that purpose, we can use this diagram. It has two sides. Then below what we can see, the particular factors or dimensions, no? The number of factors or degree of those factors, influence of those factors. It can be scaled from low to high. Right. If it falls to the left side, it is low, no? Degree is low. If on right, it is high. But it can be any point on any point here. But roughly we can identify the scale, no, as a low, high, or moderate. Right. Then in this axis, what manager should know, the particular rate of degree of changes they are experiencing. No. Right. It also can be scaled similarly as low degree, medium, moderate, and high. Right. Rate of change. Right. In the industry. Right. Right. Then here we can identify then 4 places. No, 4 places roughly in this regard. No, the low place where the low uncertainty or high certainty and low rate of change. Right. Then managers can think if their organizations right come to this area, no need of much considering introducing drastic changes, no, but they can use a more stable approach, stable strategy, right, to move with the existing culture without changing that, right. Then right opposite is the most crucial one, no, area where the organizations face high uncertainty, the environment is highly volatile, they are in such a marketplace industry. Then these managers, no, should use a high rate of changes, quick changes. The product life cycle of these products and services is very short. Right. Good example is the telecommunication industry or mobile phone markets. Right. They belong to this one. Or software, computer software industry. What are the examples for this? The organizations in stable industries. Education, somewhat stable, no? Education. Then healthcare, yeah, somewhat stable. Governments, stable. Right. No need of doing drastic changes, no, in these businesses. But they also should do the adaptation. Adaptation. Right. Adaptation is common to any business. Otherwise, they have to die quickly, vanish, or slowly die from the market. Right. Then some organizations can be functioning here, no, in between these two, moderate. Right. Low to moderate, moderate to high. That's the way we should identify, right? Right. Then knowing the level of adaptability, right? Then organization should know whom to give the responsibilities. That responsibilities, no? Who should take the responsibility of adapting to the external environment. Then, as examples, organizations can identify the boundary spanning roles assigned to particular departments, no? To coordinate and link these roles in order to adapt into the external environment. Sometimes it can be the role of the HR department. Mostly, HR department should take this responsibility. It is not a hard and fast rule, but any department, any individual can do that, play this role, right? Then these key persons, no, getting that responsibility to adapt it to the external environment, considered as boundary spanners. Boundary spanners. They detect, analyze the environment, they detect and process information about changes, no? Right. And as mentioned in this diagram, they can identify where to locate the business in this map, in this mapping. For that purpose, they use business intelligence, competitive intelligence, and so on. Then modern big data analytics, those data analytics also can be used. There's a good demand for that now. Data analytics using artificial intelligence, AI applications stuff. Right. Then if they don't have that capacity, they can employ those professionals. Right. They can use those techniques, outsourcing them. Then they have to discuss these matters with the board members, no, senior managers. Then they are the boundary parents. They need not to have that capacity, but they should ready to appear as intermediaries, no, to give share information about external adaptation. Right. Right. These are internally focused things, but these are the externally focused things to do that. Right. What are the key external strategies that organizations can use in addition to the internal strategies? Interorganizational partnerships or collaborations, no? What we discussed in the lesson 1 as well. Oh no, in the previous lesson also. As under recent historical trends, we noted, no, open collaborations. Need of having using open collaborations, right? Then these are similar things, no? Interorganizational partnerships, collaborations between organizations, with other organizations, local, international, public, private, NGOs, any. Right. Then mergers and acquisitions, so mergers and joint ventures, or franchising. It can be licensing, other modes as well. Right. Therefore, these different organizations can be benefited mutually, no? Right, to satisfy their customers and other stakeholders, to reduce cost, right, to differentiate their products, enter into new market, all can be achieved. Those are the strategic goals. Or competitive advantages can be gained through these external practices, no? Right, then looking at the internal focus, so external focus, and looking at the nature of the changes for industry, finally we can identify these 4 alternative organizational culture oriented strategies that managers can use selectively to adapt into the external environment. Right. But before that, as I mentioned before, we will try to consider this concept of corporate culture, define it and identify major parts of it. Right. Right. Then a similar name for the corporate culture is what? Organizational culture or workplace culture or work culture. Right. It is defined as the set of key values, no, or beliefs or understanding or norms shared by members in an organization. Members are both managers and non-managers, no? Right. Then they should share these things, no? Value and share these things. Right. Thanks. Right. Then that is one major definition given to organizational culture, corporate culture. Right. Actually, this is my research area also. Then many researchers have defined culture in this manner, using a value-based approach or using a shared approach. But practically, everybody may not share as expected by managers. No? There are subcultures, deviations as well, right? But at this level, we will use this integrative approach, shared approach to understand about this concept, right? When you do a master later MBA or something, then you should know other approaches we can use to know about this concept, right? This is a fundamental of management, no? Right? Right. Then the concept of culture helps managers understand the hidden or very complex aspects of the organization's life, members' behaviors, no? Right. For that purpose, we can use a glacier type diagram that is called cultural iceberg diagram, right? Then as per this, the glacier diagram, we can identify two parts in a culture, visible parts and the invisible parts, right? Okay, then we will have a break. I think if I continue this to finish, it would be a little bit boring to you. We will have a short break for about 10 minutes. Coming back, we will continue this and have the quiz after this, based on this, right? Then today, I think we have more time. We would have more time. Then using the ebook, we will study interesting relevant cases also, right? Okay, then have a fun within this short break and come back. Yeah, your seniors are having convocation or graduation tomorrow, no? Tomorrow at BMICH from 1 p.m. We have also been asked to attend there. You should try for that one, please. I missed some recent graduations, therefore I thought of taking part there tomorrow. But even after that, you can continue, no? The affiliation with the CA Sri Lanka, no? As an alumni. Even yesterday in the law faculty, they had back to faculty events, Colombo law faculty, to celebrate the 75th year anniversary. A small video clip is also moving, no? Yeah, yeah. No, it is not an insult actually. They did in a balanced way. In a balanced way. Therefore, leaders should understand, no, what people perceive, how people perceive, no. Now the younger generation is so different, no? Not like adults. Their behavior is somewhat different, no? They like to be much independent, not to be dependent. Then we have to, I mean, respect those values as well, as politicians and managers even. They are using social media as a most powerful tool anytime. Did you get the attendance? No, no. Then can somebody bring that if it is given from the office, yeah, from the desk, right? And try to complete your subjects in your first attempts. Huh? Don't keep repeat attempts. You have to work hard just above the targets, huh? Above the cutoff. Then definitely you will achieve the cutoff. Have little bit upper aims. Then you will end up with the minimum. Minimum means the required one. Yeah. Yeah.
Phone number, but now I received the registration number.
All right. But I took down your names as well. Yeah, this one.
157.
Yeah, what's the new number?
Registration number is 50.
50?
Oh, pass.
Not 150. This is no more, no? You are Nissan seller?
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Likewise, any other alterations? No. To the registration number you initially had? Yeah. What's the current number?
058. 58. In the sheet of
58. That's what you stated before. That has been written, 178. This is the one. Kalibagi, what's the new number?
58. 058.
58. You also had a similar problem.
Yes.
What's the given number?
56 now. Yeah, I also came 186.
186 was used. This one. Aravind. What's the 56? 056.
Yes.
You also had the same problem. You came today. Right. Then I have to write down your details. No, here. Right. What's your registration number? The last 3 digits?
156.
156. 156.
Yes.
Right. Your name, surname,
My name is Kaluarachchi.
Kalutantri. It would be there definitely, no? In the sheet. Your surname would be there. All right. I'll refer Kalutantri. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will finish the other class on next day. In the next week, then I have only this class next. Then I can continue with it. There was another one asking me to do. Then I gave that to another female lecturer. Right. Because we have to use the physical method, no? Should come with classes. Right, then we will start it. Let's get going. Right, this is the way we can divide the organization's culture, corporate culture. Right. Some writers use the iceberg diagram, the glacier diagram. Right. In a similar way, you can assume the first part, visible part, is the seen part of the glacier iceberg. The other part is in the water level. Right. That line brings the seawater water level. Right. Then likewise, we can divide the corporate culture, even the national culture, into two parts: visible parts and the invisible parts. In visible part, we should consider artifacts, visibles, no? Physical, the behavioral things which can be seen, no? Like, right? As examples, company mission statement, goals, values, color, buildings, lands, inside premises, technology used by the company, then members, dress codes, behaviors, their rituals, communication they use, products, all can be considered with artifacts, similar to the floating iceberg. Right. In a country also, I think all visibles in the surrounding environment can be considered as artifacts. The people, their dress code, no? The language, the virtues, all should be visible, see, right? Then the second part is the most important part. It is very somewhat difficult to manage, identify even. It takes more time to understand, right? They are mainly identified with the expressed values, assumptions, beliefs, norms, perceptions, motivations, and other attitudes, mindsets of people, members in the society or in the organization. Right. Right. But as I mentioned, most researchers in culture, right, have conceptualized culture in these invisible elements. Right. But we should consider visible elements also, no? Right. Those are the results of our values. When we see them only, we try keep upgrading them, no? We can't ignore that. As a Japanese, for example, no? First, they should consider what they have produced, right? But they try to give more priority for the shared values, no? Values, assumptions as a Japanese, right? Then visibles can be considered explained as the culture that is seen, no? At the surface level, at a glance. Then the invisible things can be considered as deeper values and shared understanding among members, right? That is very important, but we have to consider the visibles as well, no? Right? Both should be considered, right? Such an integrative or combined approach should be used actually, no? Right? The Japanese are using these combined approaches always. They try to get whatever the new things, no, happening in the world very quickly. Then they try to get involved with them at any time, no? They don't go for pure things. They try to go for mixed things. Right. Even we as Sri Lankan should do that, no? Right. It is more to show long-term orientation of members, long-term focus. Whatever the best practices in the world should be considered, no? And they should be adapted to match with our own values, understandings. We are in such an era, right? We can't be away from the world, the rest of the world. But importantly, we should not copy them as they are. No, we have to match them with our own understanding, own resources. Right, then with that note, and so far, points we discussed, we can have this final outcome of the lesson, no? To know how managers should, based on this diagram, to use or select and use the particular corporate culture oriented strategy out of these four, but they can't blindly select that. They have to, use this rationality, right? To know in what kind of environment the organization is in and whether they should use internal or external change strategy to do that. With that, we can identify these four places, four different corporate culture oriented strategies. Right. If we consider this one, where the organization is in a flexible environment and but it uses internal strength to fill the gaps between it and the environment. Then such a strategy can be considered as an involvement culture strategy. Involvement culture strategy. Right. The right opposite one is the situation where the organization is in a stable, relatively stable environment, but the managers of it use the external focus. So that is called achievement culture strategy. Right. This is also in the same side. These organizations are also in a relatively stable environment, but they are using, as in the previous one, managers are using internally focused changing strategies. No, therefore, such a situation can be considered as using a consistency culture strategy. The right opposite to this is the mostly external as well as flexible culture strategy. That is called adaptable culture strategy. These are briefly explained one by one, giving some examples from businesses. Yeah, then we will consider the involvement first, right? As we identified in the diagram. These managers emphasize an internal focus on adapting to the rapidly changing environment. It is flexible, rapidly changing environment. Right. Then examples, therefore these employees in these organizations, so managers in these organizations highly value on their employees, internal customers, their strength capacities. That's why they are using an internal focus, though it is in a volatile environment. Right. That is the best one, I think, rather than using adaptable. But it depends on the situation. We can't say this is better than the other, that is bad, that is worse than the other. We can't say so. Right. Then as examples, mostly oil refinery firms may be doing this one. Companies like world giant companies like Caltex, BP, Mobil, Indian Oil even, they may be using this. Yeah, it is true, no? They are using an internal focus, but more adaptable strategies. Right. The other one is the opposite one, achievement. It is more suitable for the organizations trying to serve specific customers, specific customers, stable customers, established markets. But using the externally focused strategies, right? Externally focused strategies. Right. Adapt into not a rapid changeable cultures environment, but somewhat stable environments. Right. Then these organizations are more result oriented. No, they have result oriented cultures to achieve competitive advantages. Right. Task is given the priority. Right. Whoever performs that, the completion of the particular task is given the priority. That's the norm they have, the value they have. Right, mostly professional firms, like even Sri Lanka, such professional firms, bodies have these kind of achievement-oriented culture. Yeah, you might be working in audit firms, consultancy firms, no? They might have such a culture. Yeah, result-oriented, more teamwork is spread out, no? Right. Right, consistency is the next one we considered in the diagram. These cultures consider the internally focused. They are more rely upon the employees and their strength, or already they have. But and also they are in a stable environment, no? Stable environment. The environment or industry is not highly changeable, right? Yeah, stable, no? Therefore, these companies can use consistency culture strategy. Therefore, these members are supposed to follow rules, procedures, more bureaucratic rules, procedures. They can be methodical. Managers also can use a rational decision-making model in most of the time. Right, the organizations looking for consistent products can have this type of culture strategy. The last one is the most changeable one, no? Where these managers should respond with risky decisions, no? Right. And they are using high adaptability and externally focused strategies, no? Right. And to detect, interpret, and respond the rapidly changing environments. As examples, the cosmetic manufacturers can have such a strategy. Then software developers, they use more strategic alliances. You can add that also. Software developers like Microsoft, Apple, Nokia. Nokia was acquired by Microsoft in 2013, 2013. Then again came back to a Finnish company. After 2 or 3 years, again it was taken back by a Finnish company. But it started from mill sector, wood mill or paper mill. Toyota also started from mill, handloom mill. Yeah, therefore they are using more adaptable culture strategies. No, the automobile industry is also now highly volatile. No, right? They have now do a lot of innovations to cater into these power crisis situations. No, right? They are doing a lot of research and development, ongoing research and development. Yeah, now you can add that as well. Automobile manufacturers, so assemblers, automobile manufacturers. Yeah, rethink of these practices again. It is very clear, no? What are influencing the changes in the environment? Globalization, increased globalization, natural environment, shortage of energy, power. Those are influencing managers and people to rethink of their current strategies. Therefore, they can select one of these culture-driven strategies to do that. Some companies might be using involvement strategy before, but now they are supposed to use a shift from involvement to achievement or adaptable. It also can happen. That's what I mentioned. Looking at the nature of the situation, the companies can use them accordingly. Right. That's the end of this lesson, I think. Right. This is more related to the previous two lessons we discussed actually. But you had new knowledge also based on this one. Right, then I will close this share, and we will have the quiz for the today's lesson, this lesson. Before that, shall I give some revision questions as exercises? Assignment was given, no? Team assignment was given. You have teams? Not it. You have, no? Right. Now you know your leader and the members. It's a matter of now gathering information, referring some management books physically as well as online. Try to gather information. The leader should assign tasks, findings to tasks to members. Leader need not to work hard, no? He or she can coordinate the things, remind the things to get the task done, keeping the motivation of members.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, you also have a team, no?
Yes, sir. I have just one
Question.
concern to clarify, sir, because in our team we have 2 members from the physical class and other members are from online mode. Do you have
It's
any
a
concern about
hybrid
that,
team. It's a hybrid team. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
ideal one. It's ideal
Is
one
there
for
any
today.
issues to have?
No. Whatever the
Okay.
mode, I should know your details, no? Registration number and the name
Okay.
for the particular team, no? Right.
Okay.
But you have to do the things using this hybrid mode.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. In future, there can be more hybrid teams, I think, based on your experience. Right. Okay. Likewise, any other practical questions about your teams and the team assignment? No. Right, then please write down these revision questions given for this lesson. Finishing that. Right, question number 1. Describe the elements of describe the environment of management. Describe the elements of the environment of management. With examples. Describe the elements of the environment of management with examples. Full stop. For that 10 marks. You better use that diagram. After that, briefly explain. About 1 page of a paper can be used, including the diagram. No? Right. It can be a little deviate. Right. The next one, describe. I'll give 2 questions or describe describe different corporate culture-oriented strategies. Describe different. There is not necessary here. No, describe different corporate culture-oriented strategies. Earlier we use that again. Now in modern use, it is not necessary. Describe different corporate culture-oriented strategies. Managers, if you can add that, it is also allowed, but without that we can spell. No harm to use that to conjunct. Right. Managers used to adapt into the external environment. Managers used to use ED, used to adapt into the external environment. What's the full sentence? Describe different corporate culture-oriented strategies that managers, so managers, without that even both are correct. Managers are used to adapt into the external environment. For that also 10 marks. Full stop at the end. Then give that diagram, rectangular box with the 4 places and briefly explain. You can give examples also. Identify new examples also. Right. These are revision questions, huh? Right. But without writing, you can't improve writing. Truly. Right, then we will have move with our quiz for this lesson now. I will call upon your names and the registration number and specifically nicely share a small learning pointer, not to capture everything. Even in doing your concept book also, don't capture everything, right? But even you have captured, try to filter them and have a good flow to elaborate the concept, no, very clearly. Need not to, refer many books and get, it is information overload, no, it faces information overload problem. It is not allowed, actually, especially in written communication. Prepare a professional in it, improve the concept book. Right, 004 Arachchi is here. What's the learning point based on this lesson?
General and functional changes nowadays and environment because that is actually beyond our control. Major results there and political legal there can be tax changes and
No. Even that point is enough, no? That is a learning point, no? Earlier, you might be undermined the role of external environment. Now, with this lesson, I think you might unlearn, no? Improve the unlearning. To say, change your attitude. To say, there's a big role of the external environment, no? Therefore, managers cannot control that truly, but they have to adapt into the external environment. That would be a learning point, new learning point you had. Right? That's the way. That's the key objective of this quiz, to show your true learning. Then hearing this, others even can reflect with this. Right? That's how we should do team learning, mutual learning. Okay. Anyhow, this is accepted. Right, then Yeshuda 006. What's your learning point?
Types of environmental process. Micro environmental, external environmental process, macro environmental, external environmental process, and environmental. It's directly affect the organization, like the first and the second.
Yeah, this is another term you use, no, micro environment or task environment. Some examples for that. All right. Right, then 184. Save, Serif, no? Save. What's your learning point?
There are three main demand managers, employees, and culture. Managers' primary goal is to achieve. They are responsible for the agents of their return on their investment and also to achieve their goals of the organization. It's mostly employees, making the employees also changing. So their skills also need to be changed according to the.
Even you could say that identification on also no? Only. Then as per the internal environmental forces, three elements of the internal environment, you noted the managers, no, role of managers, employees, and the corporate culture. Right. That is also enough. Right. Then 023, Pushpika. Right. What's your learning point?
Organization culture important to the organization, which comes under internal environment. How we deal with the external environment, how we make decision making. These all the things are based on our organization culture.
Yeah, that's how it affects the business. Right, then Nisasala 50.
External environment, we have the two parts, task environment and general environment. In general environment, I think at the present we face air pollution. Therefore, natural environment is the most important part in the general environment. Other factors are after that considering the natural environment.
Yeah, among the forces we identify in external environment, now these days I think we have to more consider it, but consider the role of the natural environment. No, that is your evaluation, one evaluation. Right, then Fonseca 045 absent. Not an online member, right? Then 016. Last day also absent. Today also absent, no? They continue absence. 030. Bandara.
Channel environment, like two categories, that's the task environment and general environment. Task environment, divided customers, suppliers, and competitors, labor market. Customers, so that's a price strategy and strategy. As the bargaining power of the customer. And suppliers, more suppliers and similar suppliers are similar supplier has more bargaining power. And the competitor and in the market, rules and regulation and some government rules, trade union factors concerns.
That's the role of these forces, no? Right. Directly influencing the operations of the business. And managers also can have the effect on them, no? In return. Right, next one, 001, D Silva. Yeah, what's your learning point?
You can classify overall external environment into two categories. task environment and general environment, where in task environment, organizations have little control over them. But macro conditions, they have to adapt to the conditions.
Right. One of your evaluations. Sanduni, ne? Sanduni 014. Absent? 014. Sandaruani, ne? Sorry, not Sanduni, Sandaruani. Today absent. Afras 162.
Strategies used by organizations to influence its customers, like the pricing strategies, the marketing strategies, and the quality related strategies. So, but these influencers can be totally dependent on who plays the bargaining role in the market, either the customers or the suppliers.
Right. Next one 005. Samaratungu.
Of the external environment, they learn four major points. First, bound spanning roles like HR departments. Then the internet using artificial intelligence for the bound spanners.
Yeah, these are some examples for the internal and external focuses, ne? To adapt. Right, 018 Ratnayaka.
These days, one of the people, I think, yes, of their
Yeah, it is much should be considered, not much by those businesses. Not only to attract but to retain laborers, professional workers. Right, 046 Vikram. Yeah, what's your learning point?
Political and legal environment. Changes in the political and legal environment affect the business activity. Government orders and rules, government agencies are moved into the focus period. It is important for businessmen to ensure that they comply with the business regulation imposed by the government.
Okay. That is one way of analyzing political environment, legal political. Right, 042. Last day absent. Today you are here. What's your name? Surname? Jai Kirti. 42, no? Yeah, what's your learning point?
Inter environment. Inter environment includes the environment boundaries. For example, current employees, managers, and the organization.
How managers can do behave? To make decisions, mostly decisions. Right, 012. Last day absent. Today also absent. 007 Piris.
I want to affect the external environment. It divides into task and general environment. The managers have to keep their eye on mostly on task environment rather than general environment. But to overcome these challenges in task and general environment, they have to attain intercompany partnerships and collaborations and intercompany mergers and joint ventures vehicles.
Those are externally focused. Then 002, Francisco. What's your learning point?
Importance of adapting the external environment where the degree of the change and the number of factors are high, you have to have certainty of change in environment. Such as the shorter period products, the software and the mobile phone phases. And the low certainty such as education and sort of healthcare not required this drastic change, but require some changes. But not the drastic.
Yeah, relatively they are in the low uncertainty. Relatively, or everything should be considered comparatively, right? But they also face uncertainty. Yeah, we can't say so. No, they are not facing. We can't say so. Right. 028. What is the Tushanti? 028, 28, absent today. Sorry, Tushani. Tushani. Just given the first name. Right, 032, Paushan.
Of the adapt to the external environment in order to the enhancement of the business. There are four major cultures: adaptability culture, achievement culture, involvement culture, and consistency culture. Under that, I will explain the adaptability culture. This requires fast responses and high risk decision making on the management of the company in order to survive and to enhance the business.
Right. What are the examples for businesses based on this culture? Can you give an example?
Competitive market like cosmetics.
Telecommunications, software, computer software, those things. Right, next one, 013, Pereira. Okay, absent. No? Another one, 037, online. Eh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's your learning point?
Sir, that related to the task environment, when managers are deciding their management strategy, so management should have a good idea what type of product and services they are providing to the market. Mainly, the issue is that depend on the type of the product they are producing, that the company also can influence the market. Similarly, that the customers also can influence the company. So, on an example, this company is providing monopoly product, that company can influence the customer because customers cannot that put threat to the company. And similarly, if they are producing that similar product which other competitors are producing, then the company cannot influence the market.
Yeah, it has a less chance of influencing, no?
Right. Correct, yeah.
Okay, then next one, physical, I think. 017, Vikramanayak. Absent today. Another online member, Chandrakanti 019. Are you there?
Yes, sir. My learning point is how to overcome threats associated with a natural environment. Organization can use a contingency plan to overcome the natural threats.
Yeah, that is one major way of facing it in advance, right? Contingency plans or contingency planning or plan B or disaster plans or recovery plans. Right, then 034 online. I don't know the surname because last time he or she was absent. Now. Today, are you there? The number appeared as 034 online. Not at the moment, no? Right. Then keep a dot. Then next one, 022. Then a code, no? Are you there? Should be, no? Then a code. You are on the last day, but not today. Right, 103. Not given a name because on the last day he or she was absent. Today also absent. Yes. Then Kaluarachchi 009. Are you there? Yes.
I'm going to talk about the socio-cultural factors in the general environment. It involves the social attitudes, beliefs, and norms in the general population. One of the major socio-cultural factors influencing a business would be the changing consumer preferences. What was popular 10 years ago may not be popular today or 10 years down the road. And another thing is the changes in demographics. As an example, when the population age, markets for healthcare products may increase. Therefore, managers should always take the decisions based on the changes in the socio-cultural factors.
Right. This is another example to understand the role of the socio-cultural environment to influence that task environment customer behavior. Ne? Yeah. Okay. Right. Thanks. The next one, Yasin, ne? 053.
I would like to talk about this one of the general environments, it's another external environment. So it's about the technological environment. There is continuous advancement in the technology nowadays, and the managers are bound to adapt to those technology and to the appropriate things to survive the market.
Can you give some examples for these changes?
If you have the software update, you have to adapt your field that you're working in.
Yeah, use of social media, social networks, right? And using big data type applications. Even to design products, these can be used, no? Design products. Then 003 Taranga. Yeah, what's your learning point?
Task environment. For sequence and by the customer summaries continuous environment. Also require resource services from the organization and software things and the resources access to cover are provided by suppliers, schemes, other organizations that same industry for businesses providing similar resource services. And in the market means people in the environment who can be hired to work for the organization.
Okay, right. Most are touching the task environment of today, right? 058. What's the name? Okay. Today
I learned four cultures and the adaptive environment, external environment, involvement, consistency, adaptability, and achievement. Under adaptability, the managers requires fast responses for the changes in external environment. For example, we can see software developers and provide industries this adaptability culture.
Right. That's how it can be explained. Right. Then Pinnaduga 054. What's your learning point?
Is one of the environment. They consider as the internal customer in the company. The age of the workforce is challenging partly because of the demographic factors and the skills needed by demand changing.
Right. There's a saying that now we noted that that today's demographic profile is the tomorrow's market, right? Likewise, market profile. You are from that Pinadu area. Goal? No any relations with your name and that. one exit point, no? The highway. Right. Then Aravind 056.
The environment, the outlay of the environment. So even though it is not towards the day-to-day transaction of the organization, but organization need to respond to the even the small changes of the general environment. For example, international. So if you do the globalization, there are new customers, suppliers, new technologies are coming to our country. So the organization in our country should adapt to that system to competitive in the market.
It is good or bad having global competition.
So it's good that
Good. As a customer, you see the positive side of it. As a customer, consumer.
yes, we can gain new technology, we can technologies and that experience we can get as a customer.
If you need to buy pizza, then you should buy and eat, no? Right. Not always local things. For a change, for a difference. Zero 35, Krishna. Seems absent. Imani 040, also absent. Then another newcomer name. Today 156. Kulatandra. Sorry, Kalutandra.
Management must decide what kind of a culture they are going to. It can also be the environment, environment is flexible for any state and based on the strategic focus of the based on that there are four types of culture that the message can adaptation culture, ethical culture, environment culture, and community culture. For example, in adaptability culture, the environment is much more organized and flexible. This program is focused on the it's a good example for the software development company. They are the people changing software.
Yeah, you explained for the other days as well. Okay, right. Any other did not participate? Online?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your details?
Yeah, it's Gonalagoda, sir. GLK Gonalagoda.
It's a newcomer.
Yeah.
You know your number also, last digits of your
041.
041. Yeah. Name, surname?
Gonalagoda. GONALAGODA.
Gonalagoda.
Yes.
Gonalagoda. Right. Then what's your learning point?
It's about the forces in task environment. So it's about the suppliers. The suppliers are the one who provide the resources to the organization, and most of the companies are they are trying to use few suppliers, and with that it will help to for them to build a good relationship, and with that good relationship they will be able to get the steady and quality imports for their process.
Yeah. The organization cannot maintain the quality of the final product, no, unless
Yes, without quality supply.
raw material quality is maintained, no?
Yes.
But likewise, any other did not participate? From the class itself, no? There's two of you are. Right. What's your name? You are also newcomer. What's the number? Last digits of the registration? Then at least the surname?
PWDSP.
There's another Pereira, no? I'll say as PW Pereira.
PWD.
PWD Pereira. That's enough. Right. What's your learning point then?
General environment. It depends on the overlay of environment. Includes international technological and economic, legal, political.
Yeah, you identified it. Next time, select a very clear area, right, to talk, elaborate. Yeah, what's your name? It was here, no?
No.
Today only you did. What's the number? All right. The name, surname? Any initials? Right. What's your answer?
How to affect the external environment to business. Mainly, I identified what are the key areas for external environment, mainly technological environments, economic factors, and democracy, social factors, and ethical factors. Mainly, I identify the technical factors highly affect the business environment. It is technological updates are more important to the businesses. Business want to daily upgrade their product to technological update because of outdated technological factors is
No, not daily, no. Time to time.
can update to technological factors without updating technological factors unable to competitive other competitors to go in the market.
Yeah. But daily they should address the technical matters. Yeah. Not technical matters should be addressed. No? To know whether cash registers are working well, the system is working well. Otherwise, they can't enter an issue or even online bills. But changes come time to time. No? Renovation of software. Right. Those are not happening daily. Okay, then any others did not participate today in the physical class and also in the online class? No. All occupied, no? From the teams, all occupied. Am I correct? There's a name called Simas 039. Then Karunaratna, Prokshika, then now again one went out. Don't do that purposely, yeah? Otherwise you are not losing this 1 mark. Sometimes online members have the hesitation to do that. Therefore, they try to, logo intentionally. But it is a disadvantage for you, not to me. Right, likewise, any others who did not participate, give the answer today via Teams. Because we can see your faces. I think all took part today via Teams. Right, then for the time being, we will stop this, but we will have the head count to see the total number, right? Yeah, 27. The same as the first day, 27 is the total figure of participants. Yeah, we can cross check with the attendance, but I think again I want to verify all online members shared their answers. If not, please tell me, tell us. Right, still we have more time to finish now. About 1 hour is remaining. Needed to have a break again, no? Right. Right, then we will use the ebook for our additional learning. I gave review questions also no, for this. Then I will finish this one. Please. Then try to, do the assignment also without postponing that. Yeah, have we done a case study? Not yet. No, any one was done. We didn't have time. Now today we have no. Yeah, at least we finished the 3 lessons no. Now to a certain level, a case study, even a big case study should be studied. We will use an Indian case study. This is a small case left. We will do a bigger one. Page 23 is the one, as I remember, where such a case was. You all can see, I think, no? Team members, online members also can see, I think. I am scrolling down and up and down. 23 is not the page, ne? Somewhere else. This is one ebook I uploaded to the LMS. You can download it. But 1 hour. This is also relevant, but we will move that time. If we have further time, then we will come back. This is the one I preferred. It's a big case study. No? Title is Implementing New Systems at VXN, the company, with the hypothetical name. No? It's a software developing company. At the end, there are 2 questions asked. Right. First question is to answer this: why is Vijay Kamath, that's the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of this place, of this organization? Why is Vijay Kamath facing these problems and not getting the expected results? Yeah, using concepts as well as the information given in the case, you should come up with an answer, very justifiable answer. Right. Second question is, could the external consultants hired here have made it more successful? Then we have to read and understand. Right. Okay, then we will read these paras one by one. While reading, you have to trace upon the important points, reminding the concepts. But you learn, you are familiar with this subject, and with sometimes with other subjects. Right. It deals with the chain management, no? Chain management. Again, as we discussed today, these changes are invited by the forces of the environment, right? Maybe the globalization, economy, especially the technological change in technology. This is in a highly volatile market, no? Software developers, right? First para, right? The past 2 years at VXM Software have been very good as the company grew well in terms of business and growth rate. These are strategic goals. It managed to get huge contracts for 10 very large companies. Those are the customers. And is in the process of setting up its fourth office in Pune, expanding business. Since its inspection 6 years back, the company has come a long way, and the founder, CEO Vijay Kamal, name was in the question also, in the first question, has embarked upon a massive expansion plan, right? He has planned to grow into international market and double their turnover, sales turnover, within the next 3 years. Strategic plan, strategic goal, right? As Vijay compared many options available to him for getting the required finance to support this expansion, he was impressed by the concept of loans by venture capitalists and entrepreneurial venture capitalists. He asked the chief financial officer, Suryakant, to get more information on the subject and discuss it with their advisor. Within 5 months, the deal was went out. Yeah, deal was finalized, and the company received a loan of this much to put in their expansion plans. In the coming year, the company rose up to double their employees. Labor market, from the labor market, and business grew by 35%. The business from international market started coming in slowly, but by the end of the year 98, very old. But even today, we can learn from this case, with this whole case. The business from this sector rose to almost double, right? Nespera. Vijay, however, felt that the focus on increase in business had led to other problems, like those performance and quality. These are the key issues, burning issues in the internal environment. Coming back from a meeting with his old friend and a market analyst, he kept thinking about their conversation. They had discussed the general topics, and then his friend had said a quotation, right? You must look at the performance from all levels. While you are busy in creating and maintaining products, you have so far ignored your performance on other non-financial parameters, such as employee turnover, customer retention, etc. Right? These are non-price indicators, right, of company performance. Right. This is we were discussing these, the role of employees, role of customers, the today's lesson, how they can impact, then how managers should respond this appropriately. Vijay realized that they actually don't have any objective way of measuring performance in these areas. So far, no system has been developed or used to cover these factors. They might be considering only the financial aspects as traditional accountants, see the organizational performance, right? He decided that he must do something in this direction, and the next morning, on reaching office, he called his top managers for a meeting, maybe board members, right? Nespera, with growing business, our focus has been on developing products and expansion strategies. Last 2 years have been immensely profitable for us, with business coming from overseas as well. Now I look back and feel that for a 6-year-old organization, we have done reasonably well in the past only. There is one point, however, which we have neglected in this time, and that is our performance measurement. I mean, we don't have any single and objective tool to judge and evaluate our performance on non-financial parameters like customer. In the balance scorecard, there are 4 indicators, Customer aspects, then financial aspects, internal processes, learning and innovation. So far, this has considered only the financial perspective, not 3 other perspectives. That may be the main issue, problem, reasons. Right. I personally feel that we need to have such a system, no, which can guide us internally to develop insights into our customers. Therefore, as we learned today, this organization is going to use internal focus, no, to do these changes, not external focus. That is better. They have the capacity. Our employees and our strengths and how to improve upon these areas. Vijay was addressing his team of functional heads at the meeting. Hearing his views, all of them took some time before speaking. Anjali Mehta, the human resource chief, said, "We are usually using the model for assessing human assets in our organization. Accordingly, we have annual employee satisfaction survey and very effective performance appraisal system. Besides this, we need to understand the dynamics of an organization and the industry. We are operating in highly volatile, changeable, not stable. Worldwide, the turnover in software industry is higher than the average. Also, the compensation for software professional is growing all over at astonishing rates, very high, no? In Australia is also that's the case, no? Right? There's a high demand for software engineers. Sri Lanka also. Even in such a dynamic environment, we have managed to retain our people at very good level. I personally don't see any need for another system of performance evaluation, especially in human resources, but I am open to any decision taken jointly in the interest of the organization. Right. Vijay, however, still felt very strongly for this issue despite listening to his team. He brought the topic again and again. His team eventually decided to go according to his plan and sat down to develop a yardstick for performance. After many debates and discussions, they decided to focus on the following issues. First one, customers. The many issues related with this were how clients see the organization, their needs, reducing lead time and developing relationships. That's the role of customers. No? The strengths that the competitive advantage the company has, their efforts in marketing and product development and how they can build upon internal resources, etc. Third one, the financial perspective and the measure to improve their performance. It is a must actually, no? Any organization should have this, but not only this. The perspective of learning, emphasis on training and development here, right? Then a CEO tries to look into these different aspects. That's fine. All these combined together would give a unified report on all elements that may affect the overall performance of the company. I would also provide them a base for future strategic planning and expense. Once the performance parameters were finalized, Vijay decided to seek an opinion from his advisor and a practicing consultant. In the question, also, no, it was mentioned to assess the consultant role here. In a top consulting firm, he briefed him about the initiative and asked for his advice. For an organization like yours, maybe the consultant's view, no, is important to have such a tool. The business today is more complex than it was some years back, and financial measures are no more considered the only measurement of performance. That's the consultant's idea, no? You need wider indicators that measure the critical factors that influence the company's success. Right. I further suggest as well a ready-made package for your organization. This will cover all these measures and also give you an easier way of implementation. However, you need to take help of external consultants who can guide you through the implementation process. Right. Few more paras. Reading the views of his consultants, Vijay got into serious thinking as the CEO. No, he finally decided to go for the standard package S-way, the package name. But chose not to hire any consultant for implementation. Right. Still, he relies upon the internal strength of the company. To ensure that, is it the place we stop to continue? Instead, he asked his team to go get more information on the subject and develop the expertise by attending seminars on the package. That's better. In the next 3 months, after his 3 team members had attended some workshops on the package, he started the implementation. Yeah, it is called similar to train the trainers, no? Training trainers and implementing. To ensure that the whole process didn't lose its momentum, he linked the phases of the implementation with the performance appraisal system. Within a year, his employee turnover was high, and the software developers were strict. 6 months after the implementation, his chief strategist said to in chat, the development technique of the package is flawed. We get the same reports as we were getting earlier with our individual divisional systems. The human resources and quality systems, which produce monthly evaluation reports, will do the same. Also, the data we are generating in X-ray is enormous, but is not working for us. PJ himself was feeling that the system hasn't worked for them. He said slowly, let's stop the system for now. I think we need to have a second opinion in this, right? It's not successful, no? Right, at the end. Then based on your management knowledge, you have to find out the reasons. And you have to assess whether consultants have done a successful job to this company or not. Right. First question is what? Why is Vijay Kamath facing these problems and not getting the expected results? Based on the management knowledge, fundamentals, you can come up with the answer. Why? Then you have to give reasons. One is what? Even today we discussed some of these aspects. One is, I think we will move from the culture, corporate culture. Even it's as per the information given, this organization seems not having a strong culture to guide even managers and non-managers, right, to face the problems, right. That maybe you can elaborate that. That may be one reason. Not having strong culture, shared culture values to unite members in a problematic situations and to know how to proceed with that. Likewise, 5 such reasons can be briefly explained, at least five of them. Another one. They have been doing a strategic planning, no? Information was there to support that. They are doing, but they are not much executing strategies, no? We see this organization does not use critical successful factors to execute or implement the form strategies. That would be another weak point we identify. But to understand that, we have to cover the planning lessons. Right, that is another reason, as I feel. First one is not having strong culture to guide people to face problems and make decisions appropriately. Next one, though the company managers have developed nice strategic plans, they are not using critical successful factors like leadership, communication. Yeah. To implement it, not execute the plans. Right. Then we will consider that as another problem, poor communication. Poor communication of vision, mission, goals, strategies in a shared manner with other managers and employees. Then, as mentioned, another problem is seen with the current performance evaluation method mechanism. No, it is single-handed. No, only with the financial perspective. It has not considered to include other parameters. If it has been done before, I think these problems may not happen. But now only they are thinking of that. And another thing can be identified with the control, no, poor controlling. They have not identified the importance of proactive controls. Even before facing problems, no, the company should have initiated some clear-cut rules, no, clear guidelines to avoid them, minimize them. Yeah, then 5 points were given, no? Yeah. These are only guidelines. You can identify them. And as we discussed today, I think it has not identified the boundary planners, no? Boundary planner, role of the boundary planners. Most information are given the need of adjusting to the changing environment. Yeah, that is another one. It's a big point, I think, as per our today's lesson. Whenever the problem arises, the CEO tries to call upon the consultant. It is not the best way. Proactive, there should be boundary planner detected by the company. And managers, senior managers should allow them to get the ongoing information about the environment. What kind of changes are happening, especially this is in the highly volatile market industry, software development. Right, that's our an answer for the question. One should be given my question. You have to use analytical skills, critical analysis. Then to do that, you need to know concepts. Basics should be known strongly. Right, then could the external consultant have made it more successful? What's your evaluation? Yes or no? I feel yes. They have done their jobs accordingly. No? They also identified that weakness, no? Not having, not considering all parameters, and only considering financial parameters. And they have come up with an implementation plan also, no? But the CEO tried to use the internal resource. But if you want to, I mean, say no, it is not much successful, then based on the points, some other points you mentioned in the first answer, and be used. Saying that they have not identified or explained about the weaknesses, right? But praise the importance of the weakness using critical successful factors by the company. Right. They have presented partly only, not in the full package. Right. In both the ways, you can provide the answer for the second question. Right. Right. This is the way, we should study management cases. But similar cases can be studied used for other subjects, but with the same approach, you have to come up with the answers. But then benefits are different. If it is a marketing case, you have to use a marketing model. Project management case, you have to use the project management. But sometimes in them also you can use these fundamental management, data management concepts. Right, any other questions? Online members are comfortable about the case study we completed? Are you comfortable enough to grab the things?
Yes, sir.
You also heard, no, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then jot down the things are these guidelines. Then later, in your own way, try to write the answers. Need not to provide lengthy answers for these case questions, no? You can provide the answer to the point in an arguable manner, arguably. Yeah, person to person, student to student, the answers can be differently stated. But the answer should be a rational one, should be a rational one. Therefore, case studies are the best method, learning teaching method. Number one method still, no, to study subjects like management, marketing, or any business related subjects. That comes under problem-based learning, teaching, problem-based. The final exam also, no, I will give you one case study. As the first question, it is compulsory. Right. But I have uploaded some past papers, no, to the LMS. You can download and go through them in advance. Okay, I uploaded. Not it. I normally do upload. Not there. Then I'll check your post page and do that. Maybe in the previous one. Because they are now soon they will do the exam compared to you. Anyhow, I should do that, no? Should have done from the beginning. Yeah, still we have more time to finish. About half an hour is there. Then shall we do another case? Because every day we don't get this such a time, spare time. Yeah, this is relevant. No, we have since we have done that evolution of management theories. This is about how bureaucracy happens in an organization. This is about the aircraft manufacturing industry. No questions are asked, but we can develop questions for this case as well. Similar questions. Shall we afford this? Right. An example of bureaucracy at an aircraft manufacturer, right? Right. Told by an employee of that aircraft manufacturer. No, based on that, the information was taken, right, by the author. Yeah, therefore, employees are also powerful, no? They can give a lot of information about the functions of management, no, of the business. Right. We will read that. This is a case let. I learned the concept of optimizing sub-functions from an executive, employees and executive, no, at a large aircraft manufacturer. Author says, ne? This example is a lesson that took place 33 years ago, long ago, no? And it has played an important part in my thinking ever since. I'll tell you what I remember of the employee he used, and I hope those more familiar with the story will forgive me if I don't recount the story exactly. Anyway, it's the idea that counts. These are authors' explanations. Evidently, this aircraft manufacturer had a number of plants all around the area, each making parts for airplanes that were then assembled into all airplanes, maybe Boeing or Airbus. Each plant had its own fleet of trucks that they used to pick up what they needed from other plants and from suppliers, and to deliver their sub-assemblies to the assembly plants. Yeah. One day, somebody had the idea of centralizing. Then we noted, no, as per Max Weber's idea, centralization is a norm, no, in bureaucratic organizations. Or Henry Fayol has also introduced this one, centralization, in his universal 14 principles. Centralizing the control of all the trucks into one motor pool. This is the kind of efficiency argument that always seems to make good sense. Yeah, that's the main focus of classical perspective, no? As we discussed in the previous lesson. It tries to enhance the efficiency of the business. The idea was simple. At that time, there were a large number of trucks, let's say 100. If, however, they were centralized and dispatched by somebody who had the entire picture, the whole job could be done with fewer vehicles. Let's say 60 trucks. Wow, the potential savings were tremendous. Yeah, cost cutting, right? That's the main focus. But even today, we have to consider this. Especially Sri Lankan organizations are having this problem. No? They are not efficient. They can't meet demands. They can't supply them. Yeah. Therefore, a certain level of bureaucracy should be there, especially in our local organizations. Otherwise, managers cannot get the maximum expected outputs. That's how evolution of management principles should be known. No? We can't forget them. The whole job could be done with a few vehicles, let's say 60 trucks. The potential savings were tremendous. So they centralized them. Now, instead of a truck going from plant A to plant B and coming back empty, the truck could pick up stuff from plant B and deliver it to plant D. Yeah, you can see the idea, no difference. Well, what happened was that pretty quickly the plants noticed that when they needed an emergency pickup of parts to continue assembly, they didn't have a truck available. And first once, then twice, then again and again, they found they had to stop work in their plants because they didn't have the parts they needed. And they didn't have the flexibility to dispatch inefficient emergency pickups to get their plants back to work. As my friend characterized it, it almost brought us to our knees, right? The story ended well because the top executives realized that their goal was really to optimize building airplanes. That's the mission, rather than to optimize fleet dispatching. That's the process. They have neglected process improvement, no, the entire. But without improving process, companies cannot improve the quality of the product or service. It's the Japanese experience. They are more giving priority. More priority is given to improve processes. That is lacking in here as well. No? In most organizations, most managers see that quality improvement is only the quality improvement of the final product. But to reach there, the processes should have been improved to minimize waste and so on. So they gave the plants back their trucks, folded up the centralized motor pool and went back to being happily and acknowledgeably inefficient. Their plants hummed once again, and they had learned valuable lessons about optimizing sub-functions. In management accounting also, no, this is addressed, no? Optimizing sub-functions. In the last 30 some years, I have been involved with hundreds of companies that have never learned about optimizing sub-functions. And I have seen the pain and misery that optimizing sub-functions causes. Here is another way of stating the message. It is debureaucratizing to take sub-optimized functional departments and disband them, redeploying the people into the line units where they will be mission-driven, not function-driven. Here are some units to consider: purchasing, personnel, fleet, COPIN, MIS, that means Management Information System, training, strategic planning, budgeting, and research and development. All should be used to optimize this final output product. In a bureaucracy, departments or subunits are formed and are allowed to, or even directed to, focus on suboptimal mission. Look after their own matters only. Your mission in the COPIN department is to handle all of the organization's COPIN needs at the lowest possible cost. Your mission in the fleet department is to optimize vehicle efficiency and minimize the cost of trucking between all the plants and our suppliers. Either of these suboptimal missions could allow these support departments to bring the organization's mission to a standstill if the organization mission interferes with the department's mission. Right. It needs to be the other way around. Departments must support the organization's mission. Then in the previous case also, I think similar things might be working. Right. The different people, different units only looked after their own missions, not combining them together. In this case also similar things are explained, highlighted. Yeah. Then it is debureaucratizing to assign individuals or subgroups mission that are nested within the larger mission. Those should be nested, combined. It isn't true that decentralizing is always better. This is not only argument for decentralizing, not to forget centralizing, but both should be done accordingly, appropriately. Centralizing function for efficiency isn't a great idea, but centralizing for better support to mission achievers may be acceptable. That's how centralization should work, should happen for businesses. The key test is who decides whether they stay or go. If it's the internal customers or employees, then centralizing can sometimes actually support mission achievements, right? Teamwork should happen. The fleet department mission is to support our plants and achieving quality to standard and extraordinary customer satisfaction, and ensure that the plants, your customers, always have whatever vehicle they need to move parts and material, so that the plant always keep running. Two more small paras. Again, the mission statement must be understood to mean that if the fleet department does not give the plants better and more responsive access to trucks that they had with their own fleets, the unit will be disbanded and trucking will be decentralized. If so, right? In addition, the future of the fleet department and its budget allocations will depend on customer satisfaction feedback from the plants it serves. Right. Then I think similar problems, things might be happening. See, happening in the previous case also. In that system, it's more bureaucratizing, but we don't blame bureaucracy. The concept should be applied appropriately, to a certain level of, with a certain level of decentralization, work empowerment as well, right? Otherwise, the final customers, end customers cannot be satisfied, responded efficiently as well as effective. That's how we define management. Both should be enhanced at a time as much as possible, right? Then if you want to develop questions, what kind of questions should be developed for this case? Again, similar questions, no? At the first question, what we can ask? Explain why this company is facing these problems. Right. Then 5 major points can be considered. Right. But you have to give more weight to that second topic we discussed as the management history, evolution of management principles, thoughts. Right. Then as the second question, we can say propose some solutions to overcome the identified problems. If you know the problem, then you can easily propose how to address each problem, how to address each problem. Right, then can you write down these 2 questions for this case? Covering pages 31, 32, and 33 of this book. Yeah, first question, briefly explain, no? Briefly explain 5 major problems, 5 major managerial problems. Briefly explain 5 major managerial problems faced by this aircraft manufacturer. Faced by this aircraft manufacturer. Full stop for that 10 marks. Right, the second question. Briefly explain a solution. Briefly explain a solution for to address. Briefly explain a solution to address each problem, each managerial problem you identified above or you explain above. Right. Okay. For that also 10 marks. Yeah, one problem area is what? The company has introduced the bureaucratic principles not to unite, not to achieve the optimization of its sub-functions, not together. Yeah, that may be, and we have briefly explained how it has happened. Then for that purpose, you can use the explanations given in the case. Elaborate. Then another one, that's the main problem, burning issue. Another one, to happen then. Then you have to consider to identify limitations of the bureaucracy. You have to consider the other concepts, other perspectives we discuss. Next to that, humanistic, then quantitative and science systems, contingency. So based on that, you can identify the problems, other problems. Yeah, as another one, as for the humanistics, or behavioral science perspective, it has not tried to enhance the motivation of individuals and teams. Giving good effective compensations, reward systems. Right. Then you have to elaborate that. Then another one. Some statements were given, no, highlighted. Because this executive has given this information, no, based on his or her experience. No? Yeah, another one, the self, new team concepts have not been utilized here, no? To achieve the synergy of the whole, synergy of the whole. Synergy of the subgroups. Then another point. Yeah, it's the mission. Mission statement has not been much communicated, no, in a shared manner to other people in different divisions, no, subdivisions. It is with the poor communication, no. We noted this in the previous case also. Then another one is, as per the information, this organization does not have good research and development. It does not use research and development for the continuous improvement purpose. Because this is in highly competitive industry. No? Aircraft. The safety is paramount important. Passenger safety is paramount important. Therefore, a lot of innovations towards safety, enhancing safety, reliability. Because this has customers like Sri Lankan Airlines, Singapore Airlines, who buy aircraft from this supplier. There is another one. Poor consideration of continuous improvement, including safety and reliability of the aircrafts. And you can give a HR identify HR problem. I think no information to understand these schemes with the training, ongoing training from colleagues on technical matters as well as on soft skills. Like that, you can pick, identify 5 such areas. Then knowing the problem, then you can easily give the solutions. But not to reproduce the sentences, you can give the answers for the second question as recommendations, as solutions, or strategies, or actions to be taken by this organization to help us identify each problem. There's a pattern of presenting that answer, not to reproduce the same, but you can based on the same. If you are giving solutions not to match with the question problem, it is also wrong. Then no marks. Right. That's how a case like this should be understood. But as we discuss in contingency perspective, whatever the task you are assigned, you have to consider it. You have to compare the similarities, dissimilarities of the things you have done previously. There are similar things, the similar devices can be given as solutions. There's a logical pattern of the problems in the business or in the environment, societies. Right, then we will finish now in this way. Today we did a lot. We finished the handout early. Then I gave some revision questions. I reminded about the team assignment. And finally, we did these two cases. Okay, then thank you very much. Then online members, are you comfortable about the things we did today? But importantly, yeah, try to write the answers. Don't keep areas on that, in that. Okay, thank you very much. Then see you. Goodbye. He will come and switch off. No? And be careful about the air pollution also. Air condition. I have right. I have signed myself.